abstract. Yeah, it's complicated what you say, the way you act. Well, it makes me so confused. I don't know what to do anymore. Can you just make up your mind? My heart drops when you play around. How can you be up when I'm down? Don't wanna think about it right now. Maybe you just wanna be friends, but there is a fight when we are talking. Maybe you just wanna pretend, but I can read between the lines. Even if I can't deny that all the things you said are hurting. Still wanna be with you. I think you want it too. 'Cause baby, I don't wanna be. Baby, I don't wanna be. No, baby, I don't wanna be. Baby, I don't wanna be. How it hurts to see you smile, like a dagger in me. She just seems so juvenile. I just want it to be me. I wanna set your world on fire. Oh, just so sure I'll stick around. Oh, my heart drops when you play around. How can you be up when I'm down? Don't wanna think about it right now. Maybe you just wanna be friends, but there is a fight when we are talking. Maybe you just wanna pretend, but I can read between the lines. Even if I can't deny that all the things you said are hurting. Still wanna be with you. I think you want it too. 'Cause baby, I don't wanna be. Baby, I don't wanna be. Oh, even if I can't deny that all the things you said are hurting. Still wanna be with you. I think you want it too. 'Cause baby, I don't wanna be. No, baby, I don't wanna be. No, baby, I don't wanna be. Baby, I don't wanna be.
Hi everyone, I'm Katherine McCrory from Katherine Learns Stuff. I'm really excited to be here today with you to go over some of my card that I made today. Before I do that, I just quickly wanted to introduce myself to those of you that don't know me. I'm Katherine McCrory. I have my website, the blog Katherine Learns Stuff, and you can find me on YouTube, Pinterest, and Facebook at Katherine Learns Stuff. And I display all of my projects there. I do lots of paper crafts, I do vinyl crafts, I do sewing and woodworking and all sorts of pretty much any kind of craft that you can think of. I kind of do it. So be sure to check me out and give me a follow if you like. So what I did for this summit was I made this Get Well Soon card. There's two versions of it. There's the coffee version, and then there's just the glitter version, just in case you don't want to put actual coffee into your card. So I typically do shaker cards for these summits because that seems to be my thing. And what I did with this card, I'll just give you a quick rundown of it if you haven't watched my video yet. Sorry, trying not to move this so much. What I did with this card is just a simple shaker card. I've got my elevated letters here that say Get Well Soon, just made it out of cardstock. I've gone through and I've put my coffee beans inside here, just using regular foam tape. My one caveat to anyone that wants to make this with coffee beans is you need to pick out small coffee beans, because if you use big ones, you're going to need to use either thicker foam tape or you're going to need to use several layers of it. And in my video, I also walk through how to make sure that your acetate stays nice and clean and that you don't have too much static. So like if you're doing the, let me just try to get less light here. If you're doing the glitter and the gems and stuff inside, sometimes they stick. This one's been sitting around for a few months, so the static's starting to collect again. But after a while, it starts to, once you first make it, it has, if you wipe it down the way I've explained in my video, it'll stay down longer. And then I've also go through a little how to get your card nice and inside and out. So that's what I've done. And before we do any questions or anything, I thought I'd just give you a quick idea of how I came up with this idea for this card. And so the people at Stamp Me Some Love and Brandy have this really good system with the summit. And for this one, we were supposed to fill out a form and say there was like 40 different categories that we could fill out. And I opened it right after Brandy put it up. And I said, okay, birthday cards. I want to do birthday card. But my kids ran into the room and something urgent had to happen. So I couldn't get to filling out the form. And I came back later that night and the form was like filled out. Everyone had already put in their spots and you could only put like 2 or 3 of each category and birthdays were gone. So I thought, oh, that's no good. So I sort of sat down and thought, well, what can I do? What can I do? And so I thought, okay, I'll just pick a get well soon card. I thought, okay, let's, get well soon. That can't be so hard. I, for the life of me, could not think of anything. And so the next day I'm driving up to my in-laws and I'm talking to my husband in the car. I'm like, I have no idea what to do. He's like, well, why don't you chat GPT it? And I thought, that's just ridiculous. And so that's what I did. I'm on my phone driving to visit my in-laws and I'm writing, what's a good catchphrase for a get well soon card? And I started spewing out answers and answers. And after about 20 minutes of this, I finally got the idea of get well soon so we can recaffeinate together. And I thought, perfect. That's coffee. So I had my idea. So that's one of the ways that I've started to come up with crafting ideas, just using simple AI. So I thought that was kind of a fun way to come up with a new idea for a craft. And so that was my idea there for that one. My first question, what else can be used to fill shaker cards if you don't have sequins, beads, or coffee beans? I use anything. Like I've got a whole bin here of stuff, my bin of things. I use you can honestly use even confetti. So I've got like this, sorry for the noise, this little from the dollar store, this pack of gems and sequins and glitter, which works really well. You can buy these confetti packages at the dollar store, which work great. Even kids glitter, like this thick stuff here. I'm just going to show you the bottom of it. That works really well. I find the confetti works nicely, but once you open the pack, it kind of explodes everywhere. So you don't want that. And you can even get these. I'm going to pull these out here, but most of my things are from the dollar store because it's super cheap. But you can get these embellishments, let's call them. So this is an X. Let's see if I can do this better. And there's these little O's. So they're little cutout pieces of decorations. Those are my Valentine's ones. But so you can use any sort of anything really. I mean, you could even, if you wanted to, cut out pieces of paper of leftover cardstock and use those. Maybe cake decorator colors, sugaring, or sprinkles. Yeah, you could use that too. My only worry with that is I don't know how long that lasts. And most cards, you make them, you give them away, and then eventually someone will toss it into the garbage. So that's not, a concern. But I mean, if they want to hold on to it for a while, it might start to go bad. But I'm not sure how quickly the cake confetti and toppings go bad. So that's something to consider trying. So let me just move this out of the way here. So something that I do a lot of the time is I do shaker cards. That just seems to be my thing. And I was watching some of the other oh, my confetti just exploded. Sorry, guys. Everyone seems to be doing a lot of stamping, and I like to do glitter cards, shaker cards. So this is, sorry, folks. This is one that I designed last year for Mother's Day. Again, it's a shaker card. It's got little shaker bits inside the vase, and then I put some flowers onto it and a Mother's Day sign. And then I've also got a similar one, but a Happy Easter, I should say, card. Sorry if it's, and so it's got the glitter inside. And I find that over time, these are my sort of the ones that I make for my blog. So they kind of stay in my supplies. Over time, the glitter starts to stick to the acetate. And that's just because static will start to build up in there. But when I first make them, the confetti and the glitter that's in there doesn't stick because of the way that I sort of treat the acetate. So be sure to watch my video to learn that trick. I can't give all of my secrets away here. So Catherine, how did you get started crafting? So I guess I kind of always did crafting kind of off to the side and didn't really admit to it because I'm an engineer sort of by trade. And so that's not I don't know, crafting seems to be a faux pas maybe in the engineering world. And so I kind of did it off to the side. And then a few years ago, I really liked to buy like custom shirts, right? Like, you know, like with funny slogans on the designs. And I was spending a lot of money on those shirts. And it was like, I'd buy one for my husband, one for me, one for the kids, and, you know, it all add up. And then you have like 6 or 7 occasions in a year. I thought, holy cow, this is super expensive. And a friend down the street said to me, why don't you just buy a Cricut? I had no idea what she was talking about. So I looked into it and I was like, oh my God, this is what I need. So I brought my Explorer too, because it was on sale at Costco. And I started to learn how to make shirts. And then I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I was just using an iron to start. And I'm like, nope, I need a heat press. And then I got the heat press. And then I got more, and I got into paper crafts. And then I got into sublimation. And now I have a whole like workstation, and I've taken over, you know, 50% of the basement, and I've taken over half of the garage, and I've got storage boxes full of stuff everywhere. And it's kind of gotten a little bit out of hand. I have a paper problem. I can't stop buying paper. I was even at the dollar store the other day, just before Valentine's Day, and they had this like, let's see if I can find it here. They had this like 12 by 12 package of this stuff. I'm like, oh, Valentine's paper, I need this. No, I don't need it. So I bought 3 packages because it was like $1 for 20 sheets of paper, and it's the thick stuff. And now I have, you know, 75 pieces of Valentine's Day cardstock in 12 by 12 sheets that I hopefully will one day use. But so far, Valentine's Day came and went, and I used this many pages. So I have a paper problem. I have a whole shelf down below my workspace here full of paper. And then under that, there's another full shelf full of paper. And then under that, there's another full shelf of paper. And those are all the 12 by 12 ones like these full of paper because I have a paper problem. So I am trying this year to do more paper crafts. But sadly, I don't use that much paper. So just to give you an example here, where is this? These guys here, my flowers I just made, those are going live on my blog today. They're little mini chrysanthemums. I had about 40 of them in there. That took 5 pieces of 8.5 by 11 paper. And so that doesn't even make a dent in my paper supply. So I need to make more and more and more and more crafts out of paper because I have a paper problem. So if you have a paper problem like me, give me a thumbs up later on because paper it's a terrible thing. I just can't stop buying it. So, and especially if it's on sale. I want to make shaker cards, but all I have is fine glitter. Will that be okay to use? Yeah, fine glitter works well. The only thing that with fine glitter is I recommend if you are putting it into your card, make sure you're using like a spoon or the edge of a knife because it will kind of fly everywhere. Make sure you watch my video where I go over how to keep it off of the acetate. Also, when you are doing this, I recommend, I believe I did this in my video, but I'll show you on this card here. So this bit here, you can actually see it's got some fine, let's see if I can get a good angle here. There's some smaller pieces of glitter in there. When you're doing this sort of cup piece, make sure that you tape it down to your workstation. I don't remember if I did that in my video. I typically do, just using green painter's tape. So tape it down so that this whole thing stays stationary. Then when you put the glitter in and take the second layer of your tape off, this is all going to sort of stay in one spot and not move, because if your cup or whatever you're filling in for your shaker card is not sort of secure in one spot and you start to take the tape off or you hit it by accident, that glitter is going to go flying everywhere and it will stick to your the second side of your foam tape, and then the top of your card won't stick, and then you have a whole event, and then of course you will have glitter everywhere. But if you work with glitter, you know you have glitter everywhere. Anyways, so I found some upstairs in my son's bed the other day somehow. Do you add extra postage if mailing your shaker cards? I typically don't mail shaker cards because I find that it can get very expensive because they're heavy. So what I'll do if I am sending them, I actually go to the post office and have them weigh it for me to make sure that it has the right postage on it, because I don't like it. I don't want it coming back. But also with shaker cards, like this one's not too bad, but it's got, let me see if I can, you've got some thickness to it, right? So you might actually need a heavier envelope. I don't make envelopes for mine. I just use like paper ones that I've got a big drawer of them down in my file stuff here. But depending on how thick your shaker card turns out, you might need to have a thicker envelope, which will add additional weight to it. So I recommend just going to the post office and asking them how much it's going to cost, because you can end up, like I sent one shaker card for Christmas to some family and it ended up costing like $5 to send. So it just depends on what you're doing with it. So if you can, I recommend doing it by hand. Okay, I'm gonna have a sip here and then we're gonna keep talking. So I cut my acetate with my Cricut. I find that, so there's a bunch of different types of acetate that you can get. Let's just quickly talk about this. You can buy like rolls of it, or you can buy like square sheets of 12 by 12 or 8.5 by 11. I actually like to use thin acetate, and I use, do I have it here? I don't see it handy. I'll actually use page separators and like page protectors for my acetate, because I find it's thin and it works nicely. But I just throw it into my Cricut and I cut it out. I've got my Explorer 2 and it cuts it no problem. The one thing I do is I set it to custom and I use party foil or foil acetate. They've got it depending on what version of Cricut you have currently uploaded on your machine. I mean, like on your computer or your tablet. But foil acetate cuts it nicely. And I always do a check. So before like when it's done cutting the one time, before I hit the eject button, I pull up the acetate paper itself to see if it's cut through. And if not, then I just hit the Cricut C button to cut it again in the same spots. But typically I've found that if I use the foil acetate setting, it cuts it on the first try. But you can cut it with scissors. I find with scissors, it's a lot harder because then it's kind of like slippery in your hands, and scissors like to go off to the side on that. Question: if you don't have a Cricut, is there a way to open and print the cup file? So you should be able to. I'm just thinking, I don't remember exactly how I saved the file. You should be able to open the file in like Microsoft Edge, I think is what they're, if you've got sort of a computer, it'll open the file in Microsoft Edge and you should be able to open the file. And from there, you should be able to print it. Now, I'm not sure how I've got the card laid out in the SVG file. I don't remember if everything is sort of on top of each other or if everything is sort of piecewise all over the mat. I think I have it all on top of each other. And I don't have the file here to check, so I can't confirm that. But I think if you were to just open it in Microsoft Edge, I believe it's all on top of each other. You could just print it and cut it out with regular paper and then use, like you could cut it and make yourself a stencil out of that and then use like different colors cardstock to sort of cut it out that way. Important crafting question. What kind of dog do you have? Tell us about him, her. My dog, I have a German Shepherd. He is the best dog in the world. He is currently outside guarding the house because he does that. He likes to sit outside and sleep in the sun. He's 11.5 years old. And that's a picture, oh, wrong way. And that's a picture of him there. I'll just get it for you guys. You can see him. Ooh, sorry, I'm still here. Hopefully that won't fall. This is my puppy. There he is there. Let's see if I can get. That's him just chilling in the sun. That's what he does all day, every day. Typically his head's down though. He likes to just sit and chill. And he likes to bark at the wind. And he likes to bark at the leaves as they fly by. And at everything else as well. But he is my little puppy. Although he is 11.5 years old. So he's not so little, and he forgets that he's a big dog. So people down the street can get scared of him, but he's just a little pile of fluff. Have you ever tried cross stitch? You know, when I was about 12 years old, maybe I tried cross stitch. And I tried it. I did it for like, 6 months. I took a class or something, but ever since then I have not done it. I've not done like crocheting or knitting or any of that stuff. It was just, I don't know, sitting in like, well, I guess it's kind of the same as the half paper crafts that I do. So I don't know, but I've not done I've not done anything sort of sewing or like knitting related or cross stitch or crocheting, any of that stuff. Any other questions? All right. Oh, love the coffee cup card. I love the idea, but are the shaker cards safe for mail? I've never had a problem with them. I guess like, I hadn't thought about this, but I guess like if you're trying to send the coffee beans, you might have an issue, I guess, because you're sending food. But I don't know. I've never actually thought about that. Like normal shaker cards, like just with shaker bits. I'm back to this one, which is just the shakers. I haven't had an issue with. I guess maybe if you're sending it across the border, there might be an issue, but I've never actually thought about that. So I don't know. I would say maybe not, but you might need to check with the post office where you live to see the answer to that one. Do you have any other questions? Oh, what do you use for storing paper scraps? And could you use for smaller? So my paper scraps, I can show you my box because I got a paper problem, as I mentioned. This is where all my scraps go this way. Sorry. I don't file them. I don't organize them. They're all just in this box. And then if I need something, I'm going to pull out my top pieces. And I have a million of them. I go through it about once every 6 months and pull out the pieces that are too small that I for some reason thought were needed. But I've got, I just got a bin of them. And if that bin gets full, then it's too much scrap. And I try to use those. So whenever I'm making like a mock-up or my first run of a card, I'll use the scrap bits. So like even when I was making the flowers behind me, I've got some scrap ones. Let's see if I can get this without knocking everything over. So I made these the other day, and you'll notice there's a really bright orange and purple one there because I had some pieces of orange paper that were left over from another project that I wanted to finish up. So I made that guy in purple as my test run. And then the rest of my flowers, sorry, I'm going all over the place. My camera's off here. I think I'm backwards. And so I've got all these ones were done with regular paper. So I'll use my scraps for that. And then they're all just sort of in my bin there. All right, so I guess that's a wrap. Thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to check me out at Katherine Learns Stuff on Facebook, Pinterest, and YouTube. And check out my website, katherinelearnstuff.com. And be sure to check out my video today while it's on for the free portion, or check it out with the VIP pass. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. And it was great to be here today.